Great bull, that's what Western big game's all about.
We're boned out and loaded up.
Take your kids hunting.
Dropped him right in his tracks.
Welcome to HuntForeverWest. Join our dedicated pro staff for fair chase, big game hunts across the West. High country elk and mule deer, extreme sheep and mountain goats, spot and stock bears, prairie pronghorn, and everything else that makes its home in HuntForeverWest country. Our rules are simple. Pass it on. Hunt like you mean it. Respect the country in your quarry. And fair chase is the only chase. Hunt Forever West. Brought to you by Western Hunter Magazine. Gear, tactics, information, adventure. Kenetrek boots for the trail less traveled. Outdoorsman's gear for the Western hunter. Trophy taker, leading the way on the line and in the field. Weaver rifles. We make impossible shots possible. And Wilderness Athlete. Where's your wilderness? Outdoorsman's Hunt Stats. This week, we'll join Ren Etzelmiller and Kate Powell in central Wyoming for mule deer. Ren's weapon of choice today is his old trusty 308. They'll be hiking in Kenetrek Mountain Extremes and checking yardage across this big sagebrush expanse with the Leica 1200. There is nothing quite like glassing antlers on the skyline while awaiting the imminent sunrise. Cade and Wren glassed several bunches of young bucks first thing this morning on their way into a ridge where Wren had glassed a good buck several days earlier. These young bucks need a few more years, so our hunters proceed to get into a good position to glass Wren's desired ridge. Once the sun came up and shed some light on the hillside, Wren glassed up another bunch of bucks. Luck was on his side, as the mature buck he found 3 days earlier was still with them.
I was out here 3 days ago, and I scouted up a buck that he came out this morning. Found him up on this hill over here, and watched him for, hour and a half? Yep. Put him to bed. And now we're going to drop down below this ridge line that you can see right up here, come back up on the other side. Hopefully we'll have about a 300 yard shot somewhere around in there. And
hunting is a family tradition in the Etzelmiller home that has been passed on for many generations. Wren was pronghorn hunting with his wife Whitney and children, Connor and Kira, over Columbus Day a few days earlier. With a mule deer tag in his pocket, Wren kept looking for a mature mule deer buck to come chase that weekend when season opened. He was not to be disappointed, as he found a bachelor herd with a mature buck. After watching the buck for an hour, Wren knew it was a buck he would try and harvest if given the opportunity. Because he found it on Columbus Day, well, that would be the buck's new nickname.
just took a peek. He's still bedded right there. All the bucks are down now. There's, 5 other bucks with him. Or 6 other bucks with him. Still bedded. Things are looking good.
Our hunters took all precautions into account before beginning their stalk. Wind direction and draws to hide their approach were carefully planned. These factors led our hunters to hike 3/4 mile away from the bucks to get an approach that might offer a shot in this wide open chunk of HuntForeverWest country. After getting to their desired knob, Wren sheds his pack, picks up the Leica, and peeks over the top to see how far he'd closed the distance. After the big thumbs up, Kate climbs the knob and peeks through the sage, only to see the buck was out of his bed and feeding. Unfortunately for our hunters, all the bucks were feeding away over the top of the ridge. With the bucks on the skyline and an ethical shot unavailable, Wren hunkers down behind his binos and a sagebrush and waits for all the bucks to feed over the top. After analyzing the country, Wren knows these bucks will probably feed over the top and bed in a protected bowl out of the wind.
We've been here about an hour on this knob, about an hour, and the deer got up and started feeding right as soon as we were here, and they finally fed over the hill. You can see in the background there, the last one's gone over the hill. We waited about 10 minutes. It was a good thing we did, because we had a little Forky come back over and look at it, look this way, but then he went back over. I think it's time to move on him.
Wren gathers his gear and drops back down on the valley floor, trying to keep a ridge between him and the last place the deer were visible. A big snow had blanketed the country 2 weeks earlier. It has melted off the lower country, but still hangs on the surrounding mountains, a stark reminder of what these animals will have to endure in the ensuing months. As development springs up all over HuntForeverWest country, it is these animals that lose. Habitat is fragmented or removed, noxious weeds are spread, and winter range is converted to putting greens. Please do your part to make sure our kids have somewhere to tromp. It's easy to see why this mature buck chose to spend the morning on this hill. The views are amazing, and he can spot danger approaching from almost all directions. Nothing could climb this hill without being detected by his keen nose and sharp eyes. It has been almost 2 hours since Wren last laid eyes on Columbus. As Wren approaches the crest of the hill, he slows down to pick apart all the country in front of him. He begins to belly crawl to make sure no part of him is silhouetted on the skyline. Belly crawling is slow and arduous work. In the heat of the moment, many hunters will think they are moving slow, yet somehow manage to blunder into their quarry. By belly crawling, Wren forces himself to slow down and analyze every inch of real estate in front of him, looking for glistening tines or a flick of an ear.
Okay, look, make sure there's nothing I want. Nothing I saw, man. Wipe that smirk off your face. First one killed him.
I heard one bound.
Yep.
Same as you, and I just got up and got behind you.
Look at that.
Well, how's that for a big stinky muley buck?
That'll work.
That was phenomenal. You can see Ren just belly crawling 1 foot at a time, See a little more country.
Got picked off by a smaller buck. So I just got ready, and sure enough, here he came.
Yeah.
Waited till he gave me a little bit of a good quartering angle and punched him.
And as you can tell, Ren didn't wait and say, "Are you on him?" for the camera. He warned me. He said, "I'm shooting, so you better be ready." And I think you can see, I wasn't sure which buck it was as I come up looking through the viewfinder and zoomed out, but then I got him on that second shot, which wasn't necessary, but as long as they're standing, do it. So just a absolutely gorgeous, 4x4 high desert Wyoming mule deer.
We spent all morning on him. This was 5 hours in the making.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
Put him in the binoculars first thing at about 7:30.
Yep.
And here we are.
Don't go anywhere. I still have a tag. We're gonna go look for his older brother. Other than I would take his twin brother. What a gorgeous deer. Stay tuned.
Congratulations to Ren on harvesting this buck he named Columbus. Be sure to tune in next week for the continuation of this hunt as Cade and Ren switch positions and Cade gets to be trigger man.
Ah!